At Sleep Outfitters Outlet, great sleep is a big deal. Save 40 to 60% every day on every Sealy, Stearns & Foster, and Tempur-Pedic. Queens as low as $249. Customer exchanges, closeouts, and floor samples. Inventory changes daily, so come in for your dream deal today. With no credit needed financing, expert advice, and up to 60% off retail, it's never been easier to get the sleep and savings you deserve. Go to sleepoutfittersoutlet.com for financing details and to find a store near you.
A choice right now between fear and love. It's just a ride.
Out of the dark night of ignorance and into the shining light of truth.
Expanding reality.
A population of citizens capable of critical thinking.
We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are.
There's a level of reality where everything dissolves into an ocean of energy.
We empower our experience by insisting on our authenticity.
That's very profound. Very.
Expanding reality.
Welcome to Expanding Reality. I am your host, Brandon Thomas. On this very special episode, we are joined by International MUFON Director of Japan, Peter Whitley, who astral travels onto UFOs. His episode is back in the catalog there. And we are also a very special joining in studio with me is my nephew, Nick, who is staying with us for the summer. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing great. Glad to be on this.
You have a good time during this thing?
Absolutely. It was just surreal. A very great experience overall.
You want to give people what we talked about? Just a little glimpse over?
So we basically just touched into basically how to astral project, just a little light dose, and like kind of not like the science behind it, but like the feeling and what you kind of will expect. And we've also touched on possibilities with it, like places to go and like things to see in the universe and stuff. But we also touched on the side of lucid dreaming, and we had a bit of moments where we connected the two and just messed with the idea of them two being intertwined with each other.
Beautiful. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much. This is a fun episode, guys. You're absolutely going to love this. Of course, it's just unbelievable. All the ways to find both of these gentlemen are, of course, located down in the show notes, down there as well as our resource links. So check those out as well. Food Forest Abundance, Get That Freedom from Fear on. Libsyn, if you'd like to start your own podcast, which, you know, all of you, I encourage anyone to do that wants to do that. That link will give you 2 months free, as well as Amazon. If you're going to buy anything at all on Amazon, feed that beast through our link. It's a normal Amazon link, but it helps the show. That's the only difference. As well as Opus, the Organization for Paranormal Understanding and Support. If you guys have had any missing time, any paranormal activity, any contact experience that you may have experienced, check that link out there. A wonderful resource for that as well. And of course, just wanted to mention here that this is a value for value system. So if you guys find the show valuable, there's a way to donate on our website, which is the last and final link that I'll talk about here. ExpandingRealityPodcast.com is where you can find links to all of the socials. You've got merchandise going on there as well. All the lives are replayed. You can help your boy out and donate to the show to keep us running here. And also, you can find all the collaborations we've done, become an expansive insider. All of the good stuff is found over there, guys. It's kind of a one-stop shop, and that is at expandingrealitypodcast.com. So now that we've gotten through that, Nick, you ready to play the episode, buddy?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So let's get to it with Peter Whitley and my nephew, Nick.
Do you want to listen to my podcast?
Yeah.
Wicked.
Well, on that note, guys, let's get it going. Why not? It's good to see everybody. We're doing something a little different today. We have my nephew Nick staying with us. We have my nephew Nick staying with us.
I didn't know what to say.
I make it feel as awkward as possible. And of course, we are joined by Peter Whitley all the way over there in Japan. Peter, how are you, dude?
I'm doing great, Brandon. Good to see you. Good to see you too, Nick.
Thank you, too.
Always. This is going to be so much fun. So Nick is an avid lucid dreamer, and he just asked the question because he comes and stays the summer out here for the listeners. He stays the summer with us, and we have a great time. He's just one of the coolest kids in the world, and he's just so open-minded and so badass. So I was like, we got to do one of these things. But right when he got here this summer, because this is your third year to do this, yes. Then he asked immediately, started talking about astral projection, and I was like, well, I got a guy, let's talk to Peter. And so we had a meeting the other night and just had a hang, and we decided to do this episode, which we're going to do, more of these things. We're going to hang out, just have a few folks here to just talk some shit and have a good time. So, Peter, how are you, dude? Everything good over there?
I'm doing pretty good, to be honest.
Badass.
It's getting warm and humid over here.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's been
real
crazy.
hot summer. Some people don't know that. It's brutal. It gets rough over here.
Well, I bet, because you're surrounded by water on all sides, so, and it gets hot as shit, so I get that.
It's been lots of hot, not a lot of rain over here. We kind of need it.
Yeah, we definitely need the rain. We've been out for like a month, and I'm tired of dead grass everywhere and just crunch around. I'm like, dude, we're over it. But
That's right, you're in a drought, eh?
Yeah, well, kind of. I mean, it just hadn't rained very much. Like, definitely not as much as it should. So we've gotten a lot of sun. As you can tell, Nick and I are super tan here. Listening only audience, check the video for the show notes, and there it is. So, yes, and we did not coordinate this, but we do look like, did we decide it's a Japanese Oreo with the two whiter cookies and then the chocolate?
Just like that?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you'll double my screen to the other side of you guys, we got a nice double stuff there.
That's
It'll be
right.
Perfect.
It's awesome. Well, where do you want to start, man? Nick, just tell us about you, man. Tell us what you got going on, dude.
All right. So, pretty much all my life, I've been kind of into like the spiritual areas, and I have like lots of experiences with, I guess you'd say, like paranormal activity. I've had things speak to me. I've been out here seeing lots of things like appear in different forms, like a dog or just like someone standing in a doorway in just the corner of my eye. Or recently, I've been seeing this like tannish, like blob figure like skirt away past my vision every like couple days. It happens a couple times those days. It's just, and my interest in astral projection definitely stems from my lucid dreaming, and being on here, be able to talk. That's super cool, by the way. Just when I say that, and I think I just started off with like a question. I blanked out. I'm sorry.
I will obviously cut this out. That's okay.
Nick, I got a question for you, Brandon.
Okay.
Are you living on the Skinwalker Ranch, or is this something that follows Nick around?
I just think he's highly intuitive. I think he's definitely got some gifts for sure. And it's just, and I've admitted this on the show many times. I'm not ashamed of it. It's no big deal. They don't want to let me see him or whatever. I'm over it, whatever. No aliens want to abduct me, whatever. It's fine. But I don't see stuff like that. So when he comes around and he's like, you got like a shadowy figure like running all over this place, right? And I'm like, no, I don't experience that, dude. What are you talking about? And then, last summer he did this. He's like, yeah, I saw it every day. And then like he's leaving to say bye. And he's like, oh, the shadowy figure's standing right there. It said it's not going anywhere. And watch how you sleep. Okay, see you next summer. And I'm just like, And, it's now not that extreme, but he sees stuff and I don't. So I don't perceive those things. So when he sees it, I'm just like, what are you seeing? And my wife is obsessed with it. She just sits there and just asks him all the time, oh my God, what are you seeing? Just tell me all about the creepy shit that you see in our home. But the consensus is, because we did have good friend and, been on the show a few times, Christopher the Astro Medium. He came out and stayed a couple days with us, when he was passing through. And he said, the same thing, that there was an entity here. He felt sort of because the north part of Texas where we're at, we're in like the northern part of the hill country. So we're right by Palo Pinto County. So it's this famous area in northern part of Texas, kind of west of Fort Worth. And so there's a lot of history on this land, especially Native American history. Empire of the Summer Moon is one of these books that details in this area. That's where all that crazy, cool, interesting, horrific stuff happened. And so, this place is just full of that type of energy. So it didn't feel negative is what everybody's been saying, which is great. Okay. So that's the important thing. So, and I never feel off here. This is, and we get this all the time. Like, this is like the coolest place ever. The vibe here is just
absolutely amazing,
and nobody wants to leave. Like, it's real chill. And I don't think that if we had some dark entity running around pantsing people, that we would have that happen, right? So it just feels like that. So did you want to ask him something?
Oh yeah, I was gonna, right before I do that, I was gonna add on to like the feeling of it. When I first saw it, it was like my first night here, just brushing my teeth, doing the normally nightly routine. In the corner of my eye, I see a black dog go by. Don't think anything of it. I'm like, wait a minute, there's not a black dog here. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. And then it happened 3 nights in a row, and every time it wasn't like a bad feeling, but wasn't necessarily like a comforting feeling. I just didn't really think anything of it. And then eventually I was just vacuuming one day and it appeared at the corner of my eye, like a foot to 3 feet away from me, like leaning over, hunched over next to me. Not gonna lie, scared the shit out of me. But
I bet.
But it wasn't like, oh, I need to get out of here, I need to sage the crap out of this place. But it was just it was interesting. I haven't seen it this summer. Haven't seen anything about it since.
Yeah.
But on the note,
have you had these abilities since you were a child, or when did this stuff start happening to you, Nick?
Well, as far as I've known, I've always had kind of like a weird life on that kind of side. I've had like weird experiences here and there, but like my mom's told me stories of me just like randomly dropping in conversation about like the man in my closet or something like that. And I've like heard lots of things throughout all of my houses throughout my life I've all lived at. Heard things just be like, hey, like in my ear next to me or something, or banging on my wall when nothing fell over. It just all these weird, when it stacks up like that, it's not a coincidence anymore.
Sure. It's a lifetime of paranormal activity.
Yeah. It's very interesting though.
And Peter, have you ever had anything like that? Like stuff out of the corner of your eye. That's where it seems to live, is right there, which trips me out, by the way. So I think that, one of the crazier ideas that will just mind F the hell out of you is that right behind where you can see, there's this like crew of entities just like watching you, like everything you do, maybe driving you in some sense. Yeah. And it's right outside. And sometimes like maybe one gets pushed or something right into your periphery and then has to jump back off camera. It's like, oh, I'm in the shot. And then it hops back. Like that trips me the hell out. But what about you? You felt any of that?
I'm so fascinated with that idea too, particularly like if you're out in nature and like say there's no other sentient observer, like what is at that edge of reality? You know what I mean? Is it possible for us to possibly get a glimpse of like that particle wave state or what you want to call it? But I don't have anything like that. I don't have a history of that whatsoever. My paranormal history is almost primarily has to do with what we call the UFO alien phenomenon. One Bigfoot encounter. When I was younger, I had some experiences that at the time I kind of thought they were ghost related. But of course, after being immersing myself in the UFO and abduction research, I came to realize they were just more signs of UFO and extraterrestrial contact. Cool. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of paranormal experience, and I'm fascinated by those that do because I think they're very related. I'm just not sure why I can't quite tap into it. It's not my particular skill set.
Well, what's interesting about this is Nick, you don't have UFO encounters. You don't have alien encounters.
I mean, I've had a couple things where I like look at the sky, I'm like, that was kind of weird, but nothing that stands out. And I was like, yes, that was a UFO.
Like Peter.
Exactly.
But Peter, you don't have paranormal encounters. But what you may both be interacting with could be the same damn thing. It just presents itself to you in the way that it needs to for you to get what you need to out of it. Good or bad, or positive or negative. It's all positive, right? Because it helps you grow.
Yes.
So perhaps that's the way you need the information presented to you. And you hear this a lot. And this is why I think, because like I think you and I have talked about this, Peter, when people get contacted, contactees, it's just something I've noticed. I'm sure other people have noticed this too, that they generally get contacted out of the wide array of reports of different entities and species and all that stuff. They generally get visited by the same type throughout their entire life. They won't like go from a gray to a reptilian to a Nordic. It's usually if it's the Nordics, you got the Nordics forever. It's like you're there. Like when I was in third grade, I remember we adopted a whale. Peter, did you ever do this? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. Tell me about this.
So we like adopted a whale. And so we all gave like $7. Ooh. They sent us a picture back of a dorsal fin and said, yep, that's your whale. It was named Peanut or something. So perhaps it's like we're, the aliens or the non-human intelligences, whatever's visiting or interacting with you guys. It's kind of like that's a third grade class that it's adopted you. And so you're their whale. They like track you. They stay with you in whatever paranormal form that you see, shadows, these specters that you seem to see, but they switch, which makes sense because you need something to keep your attention. So it's got to always be morphing and changing. If it was the same shadow being, you'd already put filters on it on Snapchat and stuff and take pictures of it to make it look more interesting. But, it does seem to stay the same or, be consistent. There are a few varieties in that, but I mean, that could be for other reasons as well. Have you heard of this or what do you think about that?
I would almost bet on it. I would almost bet these are just facets of the same phenomenon, reaching out to Nick and I in different ways, teaching us in particular the things we individually need to learn. You know, for whatever reason, something about that shadow phenomenon might be something that Nick needs to tap into. It might be useful for him, you know, here or on the other side. And for whatever reason, something about what goes on these craft might be useful for me here or in the hereafter. You know, there's the bigger picture is so vast that I've kind of accepted I'll never be able to figure it out in this lifetime. But I think you're right on. I think they're two facets of what's probably the same thing.
Yeah, and this is like people that report things as like angels and demons and stuff like that. Maybe, again, it's all the same damn thing. It just needs to present itself in that way. Fae, anything, you know, which leads then to the hard assumption that it could just be all jinn. Like it could just all be these trickster gods just screwing with everybody because it just got a leg up on everyone. And then they feed on our loosh and then it's weird. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, it could be what's gonna mess with Nick the most. Oh, it's gonna be shadow dogs, right? But what's gonna mess with Pete the most? Oh, it's gonna be gray, bald aliens that kind of look like him. Oh yeah, he's gonna model himself after those. Yeah, or what's Peter gonna get the greatest experience out of for the most growth in his life to shoot him into this new direction? Oh, we're gonna present ourselves as these grays that do this cool stuff, and then have a baby. What is it? A molded baby seat in the UFO for your son, and then you know, for Nick, same thing. You know, that we're gonna appear to this. And then that kid's going to write a book about this and he's going to do this stuff and it's going to lead him down this path. And then he's going to talk to Peter and you guys are going to compare notes because you've dove in so far into what's communicating with you or what you feel you're being presented with, each of you, independently, that you've got a lot to offer. And this is why I don't mind nuts and bolts people. I don't mind people that die on the hill that the chupacabra is the only thing out there. And that's fine. Like, because they research the piss out of it. And we get a lot of really good information out of that we can all then look and organize and kind of, you know, put forward to other places. Oh, yeah. Wicked awesome. Absolutely.
And I do agree that it has some sort of like guidance, because I firmly believe that I would not be as open-minded and I wouldn't be here on this podcast today if it weren't for those experiences that kind of coaxed me into being like, wait a minute, that's kind of weird. And because all kids are grown up being taught, oh yeah, ghosts don't exist, all this and that. But when it constantly happens to you throughout life and you're being told this is not actually what's happening, you begin to question everything and like what's really true and what's just being fed as lies.
And he nailed it with this. I mean, and Peter, I'm sure you've gone through this as well. It's that moment, you know, and everybody calls it like a Kennedy moment or a 9/11 moment or whatever. You remember where you were when you had it. And it's that one time when your observation doesn't match up with the reality that they've been telling you the whole time. All the people you've been told, not only told to trust, but did trust, you know, with the information. And that first tower moment that you have, man, that's eye-opening. And that's when you just, like you said, start questioning everything. And that's perfect, dude. That's how you know you're meant for great shit, is when you just start questioning the shit out of stuff.
Absolutely. I want to show you something, Nick. I don't know if you can see this, but if you see this picture back here, this is the chakras in the human body, okay?
Sort of see it.
So you got the crown chakra all the way to your root chakra, okay? And they're basically energy and vibration centers of the body, okay? They're useful for a wide variety of things. I don't want to go on a tangent, but that's what they are, basically, okay? Now, I use those personally for astral projection, but that's not my point here. My point is that they're a long standing, thousands and thousands of years old history behind them, esoteric spiritual practice, right? 2 years ago, if I'd have seen that on somebody's wall, I'd have thought, that dude is a flake.
I completely agree.
I thought, what the hell is that crap? Just 2 years ago, man. 2 years ago. I thought that was hogwash. And I wholeheartedly believe in that, among many, many other things, right? Yeah, it's like, just like you said, it's the Kennedy moment. It's the 9/11 moment. It's whatever happens that opens your eyes and expands your horizons and brings you into that part where you're like, holy crap, I thought I was this diehard materialist. I thought like, there's no such thing as a soul. There's no such thing as a spirit. I don't believe in that garbage, right? I like to smoke ganja and stuff like that. One love, yada, 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 right? But like when it comes down to it, like I'm not, all the, peace throughout the galaxy. No, like, something happens to you and it changes you for the better.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
So, you would say that, I guess the chakra points or whatever, like, help you be able to astral project, or it's the way you're able to astral project?
It's just one way. I probably shouldn't have used that as an example. I mean, I could use any of the things on my wall as an example. But yes, that is one way to astrally project. That is the way I personally use.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. And so, on that note of the astral projection, you say, or my understanding is that you were able to astrally project yourself onto UFOs, alien spaceships, all that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So are you limited to just that, or are you able to like conjure yourself wherever you want to?
No, I could go anywhere I want to. And I've gone to different places too. At the risk of maybe boring your audience, Brandon, do you want me to go over a brief history of my...
Yeah, of course, dude. Yeah, it's not going to bore us at all, please.
Okay, I'd like to fill you in. So here's what happened. Here's my journey. Please stop me at any time. I'm a rambler. I love the sound of my own voice, I guess.
We all do.
But so here's what happened to me. At university, I studied counseling. I'm a certified hypnotherapist. Although I never did practice hypnotherapy in the field, I have practiced hypnotherapy on myself for over 20 years. Okay, as a relaxation tool, motivation tool, et cetera, et cetera. You've heard hypnosis can be used for all sorts of things: motivation, public speaking, confidence, et cetera, stop smoking, whatever. Primarily, it's a relaxation tool. So I moved to Japan 14 years ago. And I've been using self-hypnosis on and off up to daily, like I said, for about 20 years. About a year and a half to 2 years ago, I became bored with self-hypnosis. I love self-hypnosis. Like I said, it's very relaxing. However, there's only so many times you can put yourself under self-hypnosis and convince yourself, okay, I am confident. I am good at public speaking. I can lose weight. I can run a marathon. How many times can you do this over 20 years, right? Without finally being like, I get it. I can run a fucking marathon, right? Okay, I can public speak. It's my job, okay? Right? So, pardon me. I became bored. And I looked out for adjacent methods, things I could do that perhaps could build upon hypnosis. What I came upon was the out-of-body experience, okay? I was not a believer in it. I should say about probably 4 years ago now, I did have a brief near-death experience. So at that point, I was fairly convinced that this was possible. But I had no experience with the out-of-body experience. I wasn't sure if you could will yourself to do it. I came across the out-of-body experience via an organization called the Monroe Institute. The Monroe Institute was founded by the late, great Dr. Robert Monroe. Okay? He is, in my opinion, the pioneer of out-of-body astral projection. Okay, he wrote 3 great books on the process and founded this institute. They have a long, they package it as 7 CDs if you'd like to do it at home, or you can also go to their retreat in America. It's called the Gateway Experience. And that will take you through a wide range of different mental exercises, eventually culminating in an out-of-body experience. You'll do remote viewing, you'll do energy work, healing work. It's a very, very good program. I highly recommend it. And I always want to say, whenever I talk about my experience, I give all credit to where it's due. The Gateway Experience, the late, great Dr. Monroe, pioneered this, taught me how to do it. Okay. However, I should say this, it took a long time. It takes a long time.
To be able to astral project?
CDs worth. Yeah, it's 7 CDs worth of like 30-minute audio tracks.
Oh my God.
And you're supposed to listen to them each like over and over until you're comfortable with them. Now, I have like 20 years experience of hypnosis. Some of them I didn't need to listen to over again, but it was still kind of dragging just because I was familiar with the material, I think. No harm, no harm on his part. But I felt there was probably a faster way for me to get there. Anyways, long story short, let me cut it short. At the end of the Gateway Experience, I realized I could exit my body. I was doing this mostly at work on my lunch break. I don't eat lunch. What? So I take a nap in the back.
Wait, so do you have to, can you be conscious while doing, like, do you have to be like asleep, or can you just like out of body?
You can. So this is something that I like in particular about Monroe Institute and the Gateway Experience. Now, the Gateway Experience does teach you lucid dreaming. It does go into briefly the wake back to bed method of astral projection, right? Okay. Which is where you wake up basically from like a lucid dream, go back to bed, body asleep, mind awake, astrally project.
So do you have to lucid dream before doing the astral projection, or does it not matter?
Well, okay. Now, you don't have to. In fact, you don't have to sleep at all. You don't have to go to sleep, quote, to astrally project. Wow. And that's what the Gateway Experience teaches you. Okay. What you need to do is get your body in a state of mimicry of being asleep while maintaining conscious awareness. Okay? So what I noticed as I went through the Gateway Experience was that Dr. Monroe, now they use binaural beats, they use a lot of different things. They actually have some very, very pioneering techniques. But what I also noticed that he doesn't explicitly talk about, he uses a lot of hypnotic language. Okay? He's putting you in a trance as he's talking. Okay? When you're going into a trance, basically, your body's asleep, but your mind is awake subconsciously, right? You want to get subconsciously, but your mind's awake. It's the same thing, more or less. But for me, it's more reliable, right? Years and years ago, I went through a lucid dreaming course. My problem is I sleep too deeply. It's not reliable. I think I've seen other people on Reddit and stuff complain about this, like the wake back to bed method. I was almost there, and then all of a sudden I fell back to sleep. Yada yada yada.
That'd be me. I'm a hard sleeper.
Right?
Yeah, right. So what I did was, and this is basically what the Gateway Experience teaches you anyway. But what I do is I condensed it. I made my own track. I cut it out. I made a hypnotic induction to put my body to sleep. Okay? This is something they do on the Gateway Experience too. Okay? Everything I'm talking about here is very similar to the culmination of the Gateway Experience. I just tweaked it a bit for my own taste.
Interesting.
I put my body to sleep very quickly. With practice, it can be done in a few minutes. It's progressive relaxation. Okay, so for example, I lay down on the sofa, take off all electronics, close my eyes, I feel my toes relaxing. I feel the balls of my feet relaxing. Down through the soles, into the heels, into the ankles. Completely relaxed. Completely relaxed. Okay?
We should have given people a heads up. If you're driving right now, don't listen. Just push pause 30 seconds ago.
I think my body was falling asleep a little bit right there.
Do not listen to this recording while driving or operating heavy machinery.
Right.
Like so. Now, it takes a while. You're not going to do that the first time. But that will put your body eventually, if you become comfortable with it, into a state of, quote, body asleep. Okay? Now, I want my mind awake, but I also want my mind to be on a subconscious level. I want my mind to be calm. I want to calm my mind down, okay? So hypnosis has two parts to it. One is the body asleep part, right? Two, it's accessing the subconscious. Okay, it's calming down, getting past the ego. What I do, there's a million ways. You can just go on YouTube and type it up, right? What I do is I envision myself slowly walking down stairs of clouds, going deep into my subconscious, ba-ba-da-ba-da. I go down in here. Eventually, I'm 2 layers deep into my subconscious. And now I'm deep in my subconscious. I can't even remember what I'm supposed to be doing, except laying here on the sofa, feeling relaxed. Okay? So at this point, so let's I want to bring it back a little bit. I'm body asleep, more or less. Mind awake, more or less, but subconsciously, right?
Yeah.
Subconsciously. My mind definitely not asleep. Definitely not asleep. Okay. I mean, you could come in and tap me on the shoulder and wake me up. It's happened before.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
When that happens, do you zip back into your body? Or like if you were like, oh, I was just on Mars, dude. You woke me up. What the hell,
yeah,
bro?
It's like that. Yeah. So son of a bitch. Couldn't that call wait until like 45 minutes?
Yeah, I was working on my secret handshake with the alien in the UFO, man.
Yeah,
we
totally.
almost got it nailed. Yeah.
Right? Yes. God, I was about to vaporize like this bad guy.
They're about to give me the secrets to space travel, man.
Yeah, and then zip. Peter.
So, okay, so now I'm in your basic state of hypnosis right now. Okay, your basic state of hypnosis. So, because I always do it during the day. Okay, basic state of hypnosis. That's where the chakras come in. This is one of the many, many, many different forms of astral projection. Now, the idea behind chakra astral projection is that you light up and energize each and every chakra in turn and vibrate them with such intensity that your body lifts itself out. Your electric body, your ethereal body, your astral body lifts itself out of the physical.
Damn.
At each point. Okay, this sounds crazy, but remember, we're talking about chakras even despite the fact that I thought they were hogwash 2 years ago. People have been using them for thousands of years. They're pretty well established.
Yeah.
When you say vibrate, is it just like a certain thing you have to do, or is it just like a visualization in your mind that you're able to achieve that?
Let me walk you right through it, Nick, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
No, absolutely.
Do you have any questions up to now? Sorry, I've been rambling a long time already.
No, that's okay. That was my question.
Crushing it.
Okay, that's all?
Yeah.
Okay, so, now, we start, actually, let me take it back a notch. For protection, I visualize a bright, white, let's just call it God light. Now, I don't mean God in the traditional spirit of God, but let's just call it a white beam of energy.
Kind of like when you say, like, don't walk into the light.
Powerful light. Yeah. Coming down from above, entering into my crown chakra. Some form of energy from the universe. Okay? Because I need something to energize these chakras. Okay? I want assistance. I visualize this in my hyper relaxed, body asleep, subconsciously awake state. I visualize this God light coming in. Okay? Now, each of the chakras are colorized. Okay? So the crown chakra is purple. So I feel that white God light intensify the power of that purple crown chakra, expanding, opening that chakra. Okay? And then I feel that same God light moving down here to the brow chakra. Okay? The brow chakra. Yeah, okay? Yeah. Which is kind of purple and indigo in color. And I visualize that expanding and opening. Okay? Now, it sounds really, really hard to do. I think probably if you sit here and just listen to this process. Okay? One thing you need to understand is if you are successfully under hypnosis, things like this are incredibly easy. Okay? It's very easy for you to visualize things like this under hypnosis. Okay? Hypnosis is a really powerful tool I wish more people would use because it enables you to do a lot of things, not just astral projection. You can use it in a lot of aspects of your life. Under hypnosis, what I'm talking about right now is actually really easy. So anyways, I go through each of the chakras. Energize, open. Energize, open. Energize, open. Okay? Energize, open, energize, open, energize, open. Okay? At that point, body asleep for all intents and purposes, mind awake, subconsciously awake, chakras energized. Now it's time to exit the body. And if we're talking how long I've been under, about 8 minutes right now. This is about the 8-minute mark. Okay.
Damn.
But I've been laying down.
Is that like
an
an average thing, or are you just that good?
Well,
it's probably not your beginner speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty consistent. I got a pretty consistent program down. I tailored this for me, though. You got to understand, I tailored this for me, right? So, like, your mileage may vary.
I'm sure the first time you did it, it probably wasn't 8 minutes.
No.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So now it's time to get out. So now, subconsciously awake, body's asleep, more or less, right? Now I'm lying there and I feel this root chakra vibrating, right? Vibrating. As it vibrates, I want you to imagine you're lying on a sofa and you wiggle. You see, the root chakra is basically at like here on your tailbone, like at the bottom of your spine.
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine you're lying down and that thing is shaking like hell, but with all your might, you're not letting your physical body move, but you are letting your energetic body move with it. You're letting your etheric body move with it. You're letting your astral body move with it. Okay? If that doesn't help, there's another kind of trick you can do on yourself. This is also a kind of an old hypnotic trick. You can focus on your feet and do a mental practice where you can just you can do this any time of day too. This is also useful for a lot of things. Think about your feet. Imagine they are moving. Do not move them. Imagine you are moving your feet left and right, 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 left and right. Do not move them. Once you can do that consistently, it's the same principle, right? Except this is times 10 because you've got the power of all these chakras and you're under hypnosis, right? If you could sit there on like a day like today, imagine your feet moving left and right, kind of convincingly and not move them. But then get in a hypnotic state, charge up your chakras, you pop out like that.
Wow.
Damn.
Right? Because it's so much easier. But that's just like a hypnotic trick you can use. So anyway,
cool.
Boom. We're pretty much finished. Boom, boom. You get to the crown. Crown's always the hardest for me. I don't know why. Crown's always the hardest. I've got to strain my ethereal body. Literally. I got to strain my ethereal body. And I almost feel like a pop when I come out. It's weird. I almost feel like a pop and then like a
relaxation. I finally just got out.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so what happens next is we're almost done with this long, huge monologue.
This is awesome. No, it's a wonderful way of articulating it, dude. I've got so many questions. Keep going.
Okay, and please stop me anytime too. I pop out. I'm out. Okay, and like I said, I usually do it at work. I occasionally do it at home. I'm intermittent fasting, so I don't eat lunch. So I take naps in the back, astral naps in the back. Before I go down each day, I take off my watch, take out my phone, maybe my keys, put my headphones somewhere on a desk. And I do kind of just what I call a check-in. So I pop out of the body and I look on this table. Where is my watch? Where is my phone? Where are my keys? Where are my headphones? Okay. I also look around okay, where's the tissue case? Like the phone, anything weird with this room? Okay, now I don't know. But when I come back, I can check, right? And see if it was accurate. Okay. So it's just kind of...
Is that your way of differentiating from astral projecting and I guess dreaming?
It's kind of just one of those extra little steps I take to make sure it's real.
Have you ever astral projected and not know it? Had to do one of those checks and been like, oh, I'm astral projecting right now. I didn't do that on purpose, and now I'm here.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
Well, it's kind of because you say this with your lucid dream thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll get to it, but Peter, go ahead.
Okay, I'm almost finished.
You're good.
That's basically how I do it. The one more thing Nick asked me that I'll address, or maybe it was you, Brandon. Have you gone to other places? Yeah, I've gone to other places, but let's rewind one more time back to when I first heard about gateway experience and out-of-body experience. The entire so I heard people do this for fun, to travel the astral plane, yada yada. The only thing I could think about was visiting UFOs. Right. Oh my God, I could do this and visit UFOs. Who's visiting UFOs? And on Reddit, nobody. Nobody's visiting UFOs. I'm like, why is no one doing this to visit UFOs?
Yeah, it makes so much sense when you say it. Yeah.
Right?
It's like one of those ideas you kick yourself for somebody else inventing. You're like, that's so simple. Why didn't I think of that? Let's astral project onto UFOs. We've been just going to boring Mars the whole time. What the hell, man?
Yeah. I'm going to start it when we're done. Reddit, astral projection, UFOs. This should be a thing, right? So yeah, nobody was doing it. But I have done other times just to test. Like I've done it to my house to not spy, but to test myself, to see what my like wife and kid were doing, to see if I could verify like if it was real or not. And they were doing what I saw they were doing. I did a astral projection session once with a coworker to the pyramids. And I got to the pyramids and I was all stoked. I've been to the pyramids, but I was all hyped. And I'm like going right into the Great Pyramid, right? Like I'm ready to zoom in. And then I'm like, oh shit, where's my buddy? You know, like, because you kind of lose your train of thought. You're kind of excited. I'm like, damn it, my buddy's not here. So I go back to the lunchroom, and we're both like Inception style, you know, IVs in our arms, not really, but you know, we're like we're sitting there, you know, ice bucket, and he's stuck, and so like this sounds so crazy. I enter his body to try to figure out what's wrong with him, and I can tell his hand is stuck. He's got like his hands stuck
his
or something.
Hand chakra is holding on.
Yeah. Wow. And like, I'm trying to pull it, which is completely ineffective. And like, I just stuck around for the rest of the time. And when I came out, I was like, don't tell me anything. What happened? He's like, yo, I don't know, dude. I couldn't get my hands out. I've done a couple others like that were like not to aliens too. I've done a couple of requests. I don't really like to because I kind of like to do my own thing.
Do
to
what
be
you
honest.
want.
Yeah. I went to Area 50. I went to Area 51, which was just fucked, man.
I didn't even
Area 51.
Don't they have a psychic block on that place or something? I've heard this. That like, you know, astral projectors and remote viewers and stuff can't see into Area 51 because of some sort of magic or something.
I didn't even after having done this for a while, like I didn't believe it. I mean, you know, I'm the guy who like, I mean, I don't know, you show him how to do a magic trick and then like, I'm like, okay, I get it. But then like, I don't know, like the next time I see it, I still think it's, I don't know. I'm really stupid, but I didn't believe it. I was like, there's no way I'm going to go there and like find out what's going on. And so I got to Area 51 and it's just rows of hangars, a few kind of military looking buildings, literally no one around. The ground and the hangars, everything's closed. The ground and the hangars, impenetrable to my astral body.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely no access. One of the things you can do in the astral is you can ask for assistance. You can ask for a guide. I often do that, like as soon as I get up to a UFO.
Is it the same one or is it a different one?
There's 5 guides I typically have up on the UFOs.
Do you get to pick? Like when you go get your hair cut, you have like somebody that's like your girl, you know, or your person that cuts your hair, and they're like, "Oh, Jennifer's on break," and you're like, "Fine, Stephanie will do." You know what I mean?
No, I wish. Sometimes I'm disappointed.
All right.
They got their
damn it! It's Glip Glorp again. He's such an asshole.
Can they tell you're just wondering? They're like,
he was talking shit about my sneakers last time. I don't like this guy. You can astral project anywhere, and you chose those. Come on, man, get out of here. Glip Glorp.
Totally.
Wait, so
Glenda's always coming on to me, man.
Right, yeah. I told her I'm married, dude. I don't want any hybrids, man. Chill out.
Come on. Yeah, there's always one waiting for me. You can ask for a guide in the astral, even if you're not visiting aliens. I asked for a guide. Nothing. It was kind of creepy. Yeah.
So have you ever just been sitting at home, be like, I want to visit, I don't know, Dubai, and you just like slip in and just go around the world wherever you want to and just see all these places?
Not really. No.
Interesting.
No.
Man,
you give me some good ideas though, Nick.
Dude,
I mean, I've been to Dubai. I don't know if Dubai is necessarily where I'd want to go.
Oh, well, it's
but I think,
spitball.
But no. But for example, yeah, I think that's a good idea. I just haven't done it.
I've got idea of the century right here. Okay, I know archaeologists that go like deep in jungles and stuff like that. And what you should help with is these archaeological digs. You could be like, all right, dig right there, guys. I zoomed into the ground. There's all kinds of dope shit under there. You guys got to check that out. That would be really cool. And you could find like shipwrecks or something like that. Like those psychic detectives that were helping, the cops find, people. And there's been some very interesting cases on that. I know there were a lot of shenanigans too, but there's some interesting verifiable study. There was one, wasn't it Pat Price that did that? The remote viewer?
Oh, maybe it was Pat Price. Yeah.
And that's how they found out he was super dope and gifted? Yeah. I want to say that's it, but I think that there was another woman that did that as well, and it was just fascinating, dude. But that's what I would do, man. I'd go find like secret chambers and shit. I'd go find like buried treasure and stuff like that and be like, hey, your grandpa has like a trunk under that tree out there. There's like pirate treasure, cowboy treasure or something like that. That'd be cool.
Aren't there like...
I'm taking notes on this. This is
dude. Get a guide that's like, a treasure hunter with you and like summon the ghost of Blackbeard or something and be like, all right, bro, where's it at? Yeah.
Totally.
Is it there's like catacombs is like in Paris where people get lost all the time. So what you could totally do is go in and then like come out and be able to map it out and then be like, oh yeah, here's the map of the catacombs. They're like, well, how did you get this? I'm like,
you're thinking like wicked. Unexplored cave systems and stuff like that. That'd be super dope. What about Antarctica? Could you get down there and find out what the hell's going on? Yeah. We're just giving you a list of errands to go run in the astral forest.
This is good though, because honestly, I'll be honest, I just get on a kick of like gray alien, mantoid alien stuff, and it just kind of consumes me, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need stuff like this. And that was actually this second round. I've started a second round. I had some health problems that have kind of derailed me for a bit. But I started a second round this year, and I've been asking people like for more agency. Each time I go up, I want to ask them directly one question or request. Nice. And so this is the kind of thing that I'm collecting.
Dude, yes. That's okay. And anybody out there listening and watching, submit some questions or some places or anything you'd like to do. Obviously, Peter, you need a good challenge and you need some new places to go. Everybody, you need to mix it up. Even in the astral, it can get boring. So definitely write in and submit them, just expandingrealitypodcast.com or go to the website. There's a contact tab on there and write them in, dude. We'll submit you to Peter here and we'll get some results, man, and we'll check back with you and see, what you found. That'd be cool as shit. I want to know where the tablets of Thoth are. There's allegedly that UFO that's underneath the Sphinx, right? Have you heard this? And it's like an inch tall and like, I don't know, 30 meters wide or something like that. And it needs the capstone or the Bimby stone or something like that. The top of the pyramid, it needs that to power it. Anyway, there's something cool.
You know what I should do, Brandon? I should do a series of these.
Yes, and do the
journal them all, and then we'll do a podcast
now we're talking.
Where I run down the entire list of where I went and what I found.
Yeah. We're doing this.
Wouldn't that be dope?
Dude, absolutely dope. We're doing the hell out of this. Just write it down. Also, the Baltic Sea anomaly. Look that one up too.
I was just going to say that. I saw some new pictures the other day about that. It looked kind of cool.
Really? I haven't seen any updates on it. Oh, yeah.
I just saw a picture, a couple of years old, but it was relatively new.
That's awesome. I'll put some pictures up in the show notes, right, or in the video right here. Audio only audience, check the show notes for expandingrealitypodcast.com or go to YouTube. We're over there for now. And you can check this picture out. It's a cool ass thing, because divers go down there and their electronics don't work. They send subs down there, same thing. Electronics cut off. Boats above, electronics cut off. And this thing looks like the Millennium Falcon, which is crazy.
Yeah. Have you seen this, Nick?
I have not. Okay. This is completely new.
It's wild, dude.
Yeah, there you go. So they scan this
skid
thing.
Mark.
Yes.
Where it supposedly crash landed.
Right. And this is it. This is the scan. This is the actual scan from the boat, the research vessel that found it. And here, this is what Peter's talking about, the skid mark. So there's a drag mark behind it in the seabed. And then this thing is parked there. And this is kind of an artist rendition of what it looks like. And there's one with divers swimming around it. Oh, this might be the new picture. Shut up. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm sure that is. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
All right, I'm going to put all these up in the show notes. There's a diver for scale. Okay, all this stuff will be up in the video, guys. That's awesome. Yeah, so go there, man. Peter, find out what's going on over there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, submit your questions, guys, if you want him to go check out something an old mining town or something would be super cool.
Yeah, please do. As specific as possible would help too, because like I think sometimes if it's too vague, like straight up like the Baltic Sea anomaly, I know exactly what to ask for. Like Antarctica, right? You know what I mean? UFO, what's under the Sphinx? The thing is, I'm like, when you get up, astral projection, when you first get out of your body and you reach the state of astral projection, it's you have a tendency to lose track of what your physical body was thinking immediately before you got up there.
See, that's interesting. I mean, that's a good point. Do you think the same? Like, do you have the same desires? Are you like, oh, I'm gonna go look at boobies, or are you like, or are you like, I'm gonna go solve some mysteries? You know what I mean? You do creepy, pervy, Invisible Man style, where you're just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go see this chick that I work with. I'm gonna go see her titties or something. It's something horrible.
I've never looked down any blouses.
Yeah, good for you. No, because you got scruples, bro. You know what I mean? So that makes sense. But to do stuff like this, I think that'd be cool shit. I think it'd be super cool.
Yeah,
Plus,
sure.
Let me ask you this: when you astral project, can you go into any basically time period? So, like, you could go see like other times, or you could call on a guide from a ship that sank, like the El Dorado treasure, right? Or what's that famous treasure? It's never been found. You could basically call on the guy that died, that buried the shit, and be like, "Hey, be my guide. Take me to it, please, sir. And, I'll do something nice on your grave or something like that. Or if you've got some unfinished business, I can help you out or whatever, Could you do that? Like hop into another time or call on a guide from another time and be like, yeah, I just buried it like yesterday. That's crazy that you're visiting me today. But that would be the way it would be from his perspective. Or something like that. Yeah,
from what I have not personally experimented with that, but from what I understand, it is 100% possible, 100% a part of the entire paradigm that makes this possible.
Man, that's where like the secrets to everything
viewing, but like remote viewing is like more or less a slice of astral projection as a whole.
Is there a combination of the two? I mean, astral projection and remote viewing. Are there people who can do both successfully? Because it seems like the team up of those two activities would be very beneficial.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, in Gateway Experience, they teach you remote viewing. Before you get to full on astral projection.
Well, and I think your adaptation of the Gateway Experience is why you had success with it, because it was adopted by the Department of Energy or something weird, right? And it was taken over. Was it the CIA? And it was taken over and skewed. So there's versions out there. There's a guy that runs Museum of Tarot. Check him out, guys. He's incredible. In Tennessee. Yeah, Museum of Tarot. And the dude's phenomenal. I will put up his TikTok in the show notes so that you guys can check him out. He's awesome. He sent me these goggles back here with Dicelian dye. He like figured out how to recreate it, and you could see the spirit world and like reptilians and shit. It's really cool. So he sent me a pair of those. Yeah, they're like banned in Russia.
You're just chilling. You just never thought to be like, oh yeah, you can see into a different reality.
They're like your They Live glasses, like Roddy Piper, where you take them off and you see the alien face? Like
pretty
lizard
much.
Faces?
Here, I'll show you. Yes, pretty much, man. It's crazy. But Museum of Tarot, y'all got to check him out.
I would totally will.
All right, while he's gone, I do have a question. So with astral projection, you can get into space.
And I'm back. So here are the goggles. I'm just fucking with you, Nick.
I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I was just kind of trying to talk a little bit.
I'm messing with you. Go ahead.
But you are able to go in the ships and all that. Are they around Earth, or are they just in random parts of the universe? And if so, can you yourself visit a random nebula, or just view a black hole from a distance or something?
That's a great question.
That's a great question. Well, I'll start at the beginning. So the first few times I visited a ship, I had to wait not outside. I was inside the ship, but I had to wait next to this big ass window. Okay. And
like they made you wait outside, like a bouncer was standing there, and he's like,
outside. Like,
"You're not wearing the red astral shoes again." The shoes, Peter. They're just throwing shade.
Right?
Dude.
Like what? Yeah.
Like knock on the door.
I'm just inside
with a blowy face on the window, you know. Okay.
Yeah. I'm by this big window, and eventually they're like, "Okay, yo, you're ready. Come in." And like the third or fourth time I did it, I'm looking out this window, and the cloud cover passes, and I realize we're above Japan.
Whoa. Snap.
I didn't realize that the first couple of times. It was just such a trip to be up above in space, looking over the Earth. And then like that third or fourth time, the cloud cover passes, and we were above Japan. They let me, I would imagine you could go to nebula, black holes, whatever the hell, if they let you. I have no idea, honestly, the scope of where they are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So it's like a triangulation thing?
Yeah. They let me fly the ship once.
That is sick.
I flew it down like right above our apartment, and it freaked me the hell out because I was like, yo, dude, someone's going to find out. I was like in a panic. I was like, dude, someone's going to see us. Like, this ain't right, man. This ain't right. We were like lower than an airplane. And they were like, no one's going to see you. Just chill out. And like, and so I just like, it was all, the ship. Can I interject for a second here? So I want to tell you about this ship. This ship is so wild, dude. They sit me down. They sit me down on this, like, it looks like a 2 or 3 person sofa. And there's like another big window kind of far away from the sofa. And there's like a panel. So like my sofa is like, say here, the panel's there. And I can't reach the panel, right? And they're like, okay, do you want to try to pilot the ship? And, you know, and like, I always just say yes. Like, you're kind of powerless. I don't know if they make it like, I don't know if they like put Valium in your orange juice or what, but like, I always kind of, it's very rare that I get, that I disagree with them. You know, it's very rare that I'm very amicable with them. They're nice to me. I said, I can't reach that I can't reach that thing. They said, you don't need to. And this ship did like the ship was like alive, dude. Yeah. The ship did like a brain meld or something with me. So I sat down in this sofa, and it kind of molded to my body. And like something happened where I could feel the ship like connecting to my brain. And then it was just like, okay, let's go. And then just in my mind, I was like, yo, let's go to our condo. And we just, boom, shot down to our condo, like lower than an airplane would be. And yeah, I panicked. And they're like, don't worry, no one's going to see us. And so we left, went back into space. And they said, anywhere else you want to go?
They just
and like yeah, like it was like, you're just dumb. The problem is you're dumbstruck up there, man. Like there's so many cool, I could have said so many cool things. I was like, I don't know, the moon, you know? So we flew to the moon.
I've never been to Galapagos Island. They're like,
yeah. Right? Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I don't know. Yeah.
Go see what my old house looks like. No, dude. You can go to like anywhere you want.
Yeah. So we went to the moon. Oh yeah, it's fucking gray with dust. And then like we just went back.
Did you see the footprint? Did you see the footprint?
No.
Or the flag?
See, a smart man would have done that, Nick.
Any
That's
bases?
like how
they got a Nazi base on the dark side.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I did not see any evidence that we were actually there, but I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, anyway, I assume if they let you, they would. They made it apparent to me, the Mantoids made it apparent that they have a pretty large network of, sorry, my thing's shaking. They have a pretty large network of ships out there, but they didn't go into how vast that network is.
So, one more thing about the astral projection. So when you're, projecting, do you feel like you'd feel like an everyday normal day just walking around, or is it like this weird, it's like a feeling?
Like, do you notice wind or pressure or any kind of sensation physically?
Yeah, you do notice sensations. I'm trying to think. It's more real than a dream. You can notice physical sensations. One difference between it being a dream, or I think it was, who was it that said this? Someone made a good analogy between dreams, lucid dreaming, and astral projection. They said dreams are like going for a ride down the highway in a car. Lucid dreaming is like rolling the window down, sticking your feet out the window, and hand and heads out and feeling the breeze. Whereas astral projection is like flying down the highway or whatever, or something like that.
Floating out of the car.
That was Betty White.
Getting out of the car. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Betty White said that. That was her quote.
Oh.
That was Betty White?
I don't know. I'm just having some fun.
I thought it was someone on the show, and I was like, I don't know who that is.
What about with your lucid dreaming thing? So I wanted to get back to that. So you have a thing, because you need to be able to tell if you're in a dream or not, like the movie Inception, right? Mm-hmm. And so you have a thing. So tell us about that.
So I basically just I started getting into lucid dreaming about 3-ish years ago. I don't do it that often because, like work, school, and all that. And there's a bunch of YouTube videos. Eventually found out there's something called reality checking, where you do a certain motion. One very popular one is to hold your hand up and kind of just poke your finger. And when you do that, look around you and then be like, okay, cool, I'm alive. This is reality. And do that all the time, every day, just like randomly. And then eventually it'll become a habit and you'll accidentally do it in a dream. And for my instance, I was just walking down like this path in a forest, touched my hand, looked around me, and I was like, wait a minute, that tree looks kind of whoa. And then it all just hit me. And it's like, it's weird describing dreams. Like, it's hard to describe what they look like because it's all like warped and weird and like nothing really makes sense, but you're aware of it all. And I've even had me just walking down wherever and have had someone walk up to me and be like, hey, you're dreaming. And I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then I continue about it.
Oh, that would just creep me out so much. I would just be like, oh. And see, you could mess with people though.
Yes.
Like if you knew that they lucid dream, just walk up to them and just go, hey, you're dreaming, right? Even in this life, like real life, and really dick with them pretty hard. But it's weird what you say though about, so like whenever you say lucid dreaming and you're talking about astral projection, I'm just thinking, why not just go to bed and astral project rather than lucid dream?
Yeah.
So the difference is, I'm just assuming here, is that a dream is something you're creating and making up, so you're interacting with a part of you, or maybe you're traveling to another dimension and hopping into another avatar, or you are another avatar simultaneously, and you just consciously, because your body needs rest here, you just shag ass over there. And then astral projection seems to be more of like a here and now, like a current events type thing. So you're astral projecting, but you're seeing like the way things are as far as our linear time goes in this time. Is that accurate?
In my opinion, it is. I think some people would disagree. Honestly, Brandon, I'm not one to disparage anyone or anyone else's practice. Okay, I think if the wake back to bed method is the best method to get people into astral projection, they should by all means start with that. I think the truest, most foolproof way of astral projection, in order to make sure you are actually in the astral realm as opposed to the dream realm, is to do it body asleep, mind awake, daytime. But I do agree with you.
It's just interesting, yeah, that you just, excuse me, just go to sleep, and then now you just astral project rather than dream. Or if it's like a fork in the road, you can be like, well, tonight I want to dream, but then I'll lucid dream. Or I'll astral project tonight. Instead, my body will still get the same amount of rest, but I'll be doing different, deliberate things with my consciousness. That's just interesting.
I find lucid dreaming to, it's kind of difficult to, I guess, conjure. People listening, don't expect to do it your first time. It took me pretty much like weeks to kind of get into it, just kind of testing my grounds. And then one day I woke up and I was like, whoa. And it's not going to happen every time. At least from my experience, it's not going to happen every single time. You'll go to bed and wake up like, oh, it didn't happen this time. And then randomly a week later, it'll just click and work. And you just got to find your, I guess, mojo and your best way to get into it. That's my take on it.
Because that's like learning a new skill.
Yeah.
You're not just going to hop in and know what the hell to do. There's going to be screwing it up. You're going to accidentally maybe see some boobies. And you're just like, I'm sorry, ma'am, I didn't mean to do that. I'm new at this. I'm learning.
Yeah.
And you astral project to places that, just don't make sense. But maybe that's it. You're just figuring it out. You're dialing it in.
And I tend to find when I go lucid, usually my dream kind of gets a lot more tame because my mind is realizing it. And what I struggle with the most is being able to control anything or being able to alter my dream at all, because you really got to believe and you really got to think hey, I know I can fly. You can't just be like, oh, I want to fly. And what I find oftentimes is like in a dream, if I'm able to fly and then I realize I'm in a dream, usually my ability to fly will go away and then my dream will slowly get more and more realistic and lose control. And if I lose control enough, I'll just open my eyes and be like, well, damn.
Well, it's interesting because now I'm thinking that people who can astral project and lucid dream are probably great manifestors. You guys probably have a lot of control of your subconscious mind. You've got a lot of deliberateness in your ability to spot things and then 86 them because you know that they're not going to yield the result that you want. And that's what it sounded like with you. It was too obvious that you were in the dream. You said it right there. When you realized you were in the dream is where it was less controllable and less fun, less entertaining. But as long as you don't know, just like in manifestation, you roll with it with like a nonchalance, then you produce the results a lot easier. That's just an interesting correlation. I bet there's something there. I bet you there's something between master manifestors and astral projection, or at least incorporating the two practices together.
And with the manifest state. Sorry,
I've read from people who can do both with regularity, lucid dreaming and astral projections, that often, that sometimes and often, the lucid dreams are more powerful than the astral projection sessions.
That's interesting.
Yeah, which is interesting to me. And so someone that doesn't... Oh, go ahead.
Is it because your body is half asleep and mind half awake when you're astral projecting, but when you're asleep, you go into that REM sleep and your body's completely shut down? So there's no physical tie to it. It sounds like with astral projection, you kind of keep, like a bell on you or something, so that if you go too deep, it'll wake you out of it. Rather than when you sleep, you go full balls. You're just fully committed to the travel.
Seems like the leash is off almost, maybe, right?
That's
and
interesting.
It's like
I would have thought
it'd
it'd be the other way around.
Right? Is there anything in particular you prefer to do while lucid dreaming, Nick? Or has there been a specific most profound lucid dream you have had that you could pinpoint?
Well, I'd say with my dreams, I have ADHD, so I have trouble focusing anyways, and my dreams I find to be just eccentric. There's not really much words to put into it. I'll compare dreams to people, and mine are just I switch plots all the time, and I'll even have pre-downloaded memories for the plot, and to have coax me into the plot of the story. And only when I go lucid, I break free of that plot, and it kind of falls apart around me. But I have found there's certain things I'll try to conjure and lucid dreaming, and I recommend starting small. I wouldn't say yes, fly and then go now. I'd say try to move something or create something in front of you, and then the more lucid dreaming you do, the more you'll remember your dreams. And if you write down your dreams like a dream journal or talk about them a lot like I do, you'll eventually start remembering and being able to control it a lot more and do whatever the hell you want, pretty much.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool. We get morning reports of his dreams every morning. So we're sitting outside, that's the birds and everybody waking up, and then Nick's like, "Oh my God, this dream was crazy." And my wife and I just gather around. We're like, "All right, what you got?"
Wow.
Those are always interesting. And he's been doing it for a while. It's pretty cool.
Do you journal? Do you journal, Nick?
I usually journal my most like the more intense ones. I haven't been able to journal a lucid dream in a minute because I kind of broke way of it because I got a job and all that, and it was all weird. But what I found is the more you journal down, if you look into how to lucid dream, or just search quick on YouTube or Google, one of the big things is a dream journal. Most people get written off of that. They don't like writing and stuff, and I was the same way until I started having these weirdly just insane, intricate dreams. And then I would take a moment of my day, just when it all comes to me, type it down. And then as I consistently did that, the dreams got more and more surreal. And then I was able to almost conjure the lucid dream. I could sometimes kind of see a little bit into it, and then I would become lucid for, I'd say, a couple minutes in the dream, and then I'd get pulled out of the lucid, and then my mind would just go back into the plot, and I would just continue about my day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's wild.
I think there's something very powerful about journaling these experiences, and not just lucid dreams, astral projections, any of these paranormal things that happen to us. I think there's a lot of power in us journaling all this stuff, and then at times going back, reflecting on it. As long as you don't mind potentially opening Pandora's box again, I think there's a lot of power to it, because I think
absolutely,
it generates a lot of avenues to revisit it.
And it can I mean, it would make sense if it even can strengthen your mind, because all you're doing is heightening your ability to remember. And the more you're able to remember your dreams, you're able to control your mind more and have more of a grip on your subconscious, rather than kind of letting it just do whatever it wants when you go to sleep.
And this is why I'm thinking especially for ADD people like yourself, ADHD, all of it, then to have really a good meditation practice to incorporate, because then it'll teach you to still your mind, to really focus, and how to keep a consistent narrative going throughout your dream, if that's your goal. There may be things here like meditation that would be a really good way to incorporate with that.
And I remember last year experimenting with meditation, because just last year I was still not as open-minded as I am now, because I was still in the height of experiencing the black shadowy figure following me. I was like, "Oh, I'm cursed." And Brandon suggested meditation, or someone did, and I was like, "You know what? Hell, I'll give it a try." And then I expected to not be able to clear my mind, because my mind's constantly thinking about everything. And then I would find that the more I just focused on the sound of my breathing, and the feel of the wind against my skin, and the direction of it, your mind will slowly clear out, and then you'll just open your eyes, and everything just seems more just bright and colorful, and you just feel a lot better. And then as I did that more, again, my dreams, I believe, were affected by it, because that was last year was when my heighten of my crazy dreams happened.
Yeah. Also, maybe have something to do with puberty too, because over the past couple of years, we've seen you grow. You've changed, and that just happens. But that may have something to do with it too. And even in the X-Men, they didn't get their powers until they came into maturity. And so this could be one of these things, where the kids get their superpowers maybe back or amplified after the indoctrination period, because you probably started like this, and then it gets beaten at you with society and the Matrix and shit, right? And then you just kind of back, then you maybe get more intuitive, or you get a bump, when you reach maturity or whatever.
And I just remembered this from last year, completely forgot about it until this moment. Something that kept happening over and over, and then the entire length of my trip last summer, for some reason I couldn't grasp on the fact that it was reality. Something just felt off. And then there were a couple days there where I felt I guess derealization, or wherever, felt like my body was stepped away from reality, and everything felt fake. But there was this one night, shortly after I started seeing the whatever it was appearing to me, I got this overwhelming feeling of just everything felt fake. And I would look around me. It happened for like 30 minutes to an hour. And I would just look around me and like my arms and legs. And I was like, I know that's real. But for some reason, my mind was telling me all of this is fake. This isn't actually physical. You're just imagining this. And it was just such a trippy and just confusing feeling to have. But as I slowly accepted it more, it started to kind of slip away and it kind of felt a lot more normal.
I'm just hearing we need to start like a special kids summer camp out here or something.
Yeah,
because your powers and so seem to kind of fester out here.
Professor Brandon, School for the Gifted.
That's right. That's right. And the studio is called Cerebro. That's what I named the studio after.
Really? Really?
Yeah. So that amplifies the message, yeah.
And it was weird because I found the feeling and like the shadowy figure. Also, I only saw it in this one specific part of the house, and I don't know why. Can't figure it out. But I found that when I actually left here and flew back home, that feeling subsided. I felt nothing, and I didn't really have a weird or paranormal experience that made me question stuff for like 4 to 5 months. It was really strange.
So you came back this year, and then we got some naked ghost streak and some pale, what was it, tan thing just swiping by in the corner?
They thought, or Mary thought that I had peeked around the corner and just kind of stared at her for a second, and then she looked up and was gone, and she yelled at me. She's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm just like, "I'm sitting here." She comes in, she's like, "Something weird just happened." And this was like an hour ago.
Well, what's weird about it is, I mean, it doesn't feel threatening. You know, it feels cool.
Not at all.
It feels like something that's
I'm chill.
adding to the vibe. Like he, she, whatever it is chilling.
Yeah.
So we'll take
You're really lucky, Nick. I mean, not one, of course, because you got Brandon.
Oh,
and also, I mean, that's primarily the reason. But also, too, because of this day and age you live in, where like the stuff we're talking about is more accepted.
Yes.
There's a platform where you can go for it. Because like I hear like some similarities. Like we talked about earlier, the phenomenon expresses itself in different ways between you and I. But like around your age, I started having similar paranormal things, but like I couldn't examine them like you are because I didn't have a Brandon. And I didn't have a YouTube. Peter. I didn't have an internet. Like I had a couple of shady, goofy books by Lumpanics Unlimited or something, or maybe Terrence McKenna talked about mushrooms, which were vaguely related to aliens.
The gods,
but
great
like,
book.
Man, you're in a great position, dude. I'm really envy you, and I think you're off to an awesome start with all of this, given all of the resources you have, primarily Brandon, really cool, Absolutely. Really cool. I think you're like off to an awesome start with this stuff, man.
And before I say what I'm about to say, I'm not sugarcoating this. This isn't like to hype him up on his show or anything.
Yeah.
Like, to be completely honest, I would not be where I am without him. And I would not be as open and as accepting, because before I came down here for the summer, I mean, I just thought it was like, oh, kind of fun. Just do this. And I got a lot more mature just being around them, a lot more open-minded, a lot more, as I just said, accepting of different things. Because I thought like witches and all, like just all this paranormal stuff and like UFOs and all that kind of like all these conspiracy theories were just BS. And I was like, I don't want to feed into it. And then he kind of helped me gain that personal connection. And through that, I was able to see logically what it actually was in front of me. And here I am talking about this now to you face to face, which is, again, cool that we can even do this.
Yeah.
It's just,
he's in Japan
crazy.
Right now. It's tomorrow for him.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
It's tomorrow at like the morning for him. It's crazy.
So weird. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for saying what you said. But I can honestly say that Mary and I, my wife and I, because he's my wife's sister's kid.
Yes.
So he's on her side. But the reason that you say this is because we listen, and that's really it. That's really honestly the first thing is we listen and we ask you questions about it. Well, how does this make you feel? And we let you kind of come to some conclusions, or I'll throw you a book that you won't read. And then I'll be like, hey, just at least listen to Peter's episode or something. And he does. He listens and it's great. But thank you for saying that. But honestly, it's just encouraging you to be who you are. And we don't go out of our way to do so. It's actually the easiest thing. We don't fight who he is. We're not telling him, nah, you're full of shit or whatever. And we're just like, yeah, it sounds amazing. Tell me more, or what does that make you think of? And how does that make you feel? All that kind of shit. Those are the questions we have. Not, well, you're dumb for thinking that, and you shouldn't be. It's just encouraging him to, pursue what he feels and what he observes in his reality, which is way more than the Matrix is doing for any of us. So how I view kind of our roles here, and Peter, you and I are about the same age, is we are, bringing up the next generation. We're kind of clearing the path like those that did before us, your Terrence McKenna's, your Jordan Maxwell's, your Bill Hicks's, all of those folks, Michael Talbot, I have to mention, all those people were cutting, the trail for us before, and then they handed us the axe, and then they moved on, and we are doing the same for them. Now, what's really cool about this is this guy, there are videos all over of these kids moving stuff with their mind and their hands and their chi. I think this is the next step. They're the next evolutionary process. If you follow the Dolores Cannon idea of the 3 waves of volunteers, you and I, Peter, are wave number 2, and they're wave number 3. They're the final wave that really get to change the big stuff and then really get to kind of enjoy it. We get to enjoy knowing that we paved the way for them enough to go, hey, just ask questions, and hey, we've kind of already covered that the government's full of shit and they don't care about you at all. So check that off your list, and then they're like, oh, yeah. And then they can just break that paradigm apart right away and then move on to the business of astral projection or lucid dreaming or really being of service in a grander way rather than being nitpicky about the systems in place here that we've already torn to shreds. So it's kind of cool, man. And, I just love seeing it. I love the shit out of this kid. Not talking him up or anything, but we open our home to this kid every year because he's incredible. That's a very rare thing for us, but he's earned it. And all the time, I'm like, hey, we're gonna go do like yesterday. We did a bunch of shit with chainsaws and it was kind of like badass. Kind of like the aliens let you drive the UFO. He was driving the ranch truck around, and it's this big ass diesel thing. It's just a C-130 on wheels. And so he's driving this thing around using chainsaws and shit like that. So he does it, and he's right there with it, never bitches, and always fun to get stuff done with. But well, if you want, I'm going to show you these. I'm going to have you put these on, show Peter. And so take your headphones off. Okay, that's all good.
Yeah.
All right. So these are the
lizard face I have.
I want to say it's Dyson Dye. It's DY. I'll put it in the show notes, guys.
Yeah, please do.
I've done it before. So these things are badass, and he actually made this thing. So it's a synthetic version that he figured out because it's the original one. And like these, the story goes that they were developed in Russia and they're outlawed, they're banned. But he figured out a way to synthesize it. So he makes these things and he ships them out. Outside, it's really cool, but they take some while. I don't know if you've ever worn the toe shoes, those Vibram shoes where your toes are separate.
Yeah.
The same way it goes for that. As you wear, I know, me too. And so when you wear those things, though, you can't wear them for very long. Remember the instructions? You've got to wear them like 15 minutes the first time and all that, and let your feet kind of acclimate. Same thing with these. You wear them for a little bit of time at first, and then kind of progress to what you're able to see. And you start with your own hand, and you can see the outline of your aura. And, he'll say that him and his girlfriend go to like Walmart and stuff and sit in the parking lot and watch lizard people drive people around and stuff. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, the idea, and people have drawn this. They say that they can see it. Astral projectors and remote viewers have done this. And you can just kind of see an alien or a reptilian like taller than you, like 8 feet tall if you're 5 foot, whatever. And it's got its arms basically in your shoulders and it's kind of driving you around. Isn't that crazy? And you can see them with these damn goggles, dude. That's pretty cool.
There's one right behind you. That's crazy. I can't wait to look into this.
And no, it's really cool. And I'll send you a link, actually, Peter. So that'll work.
Please do. Wicked. I didn't look all freaky like an alien, did I, Nick?
I'm gonna be honest. Like there was like this massive like reptile dude just kind of like tickling your ears and felt creepy.
That's okay.
That's all right. He's sweet.
He's kind of nice. His name's Jermaine.
Yeah. It's not Glip Glop. He's an asshole.
Fuck Glip Glop.
Well,
I'm looking forward to checking that out.
Do you have another question? And then Peter will give you the last word, man. But this has been awesome. Thank you guys so much for doing this.
Awesome,
we'll have to do this again.
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll make this kind of a regular thing, us three hanging out. We may add somebody else. We could still do this when you go home.
Oh, yeah.
It'll just be shittier sound. All right. So
I'll leave the last word to Nick, but I'd like to piggyback off something you said, Brandon. That's just as my last word. I want to say, up until, around the time you and I met, or around the time I came out with this stuff, I was married, had a son. I still kind of felt empty, just in terms of like my life's purpose, or like like there was an emptiness inside me, like I hadn't done what I was meant to do. But after I met Shao, Brandon, Grant Cameron, etc., I started doing podcasts, talking to people in the community like yourself, getting the word out, being that second wave of volunteer to help get Nick up there, to help hopefully get, kids like my son up there. Yep. I felt empty. Now that I've been out there with my real name, doxing myself, no one cares, telling people about this stuff, trying to bring people together. Now I honestly fear nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if this condo fell to rubbish, I mean, I hope to God it doesn't, but I regret nothing. I feel like this is it. I feel like we're really living life now. I really do. I really
agree,
do.
but we have so much.
This is what we were meant to do.
Completely agree, but we have so much more work to do. We're only getting started, Peter. I mean, even though we know our roles here, we're only getting started, because as we ramp up, as they ramp up, actually, they're going to pave the way for the ability for us to have a bigger voice. And that's the thing that's very interesting, is that they will be the ones that change things, because they'll allow, people who've been talking about it for a long time, and they'll say, hey, listen to this dude, because he, will send you down this idea. And then they'll expand on those ideas, which is great. We bounce ideas off each other all the time, man. And this kid is just, on it. So we'll definitely have to, do more of this. But I agree with you, dude. I think it's a cool deal, and it does. It's this sense of purpose, man. I love it.
Yeah,
we'll take it.
I'm so excited to see what your generation comes up with, Nick. It's going to be awesome. So it really is.
I tell him this all the time, and this kid specifically, he's meant for huge things. He's definitely here to change the world for sure. And I'm very excited to see what he does. So you want to give us a last word and we'll sign off?
Yeah, sure. I'm down for that. So first, love to be a part of this. Just the podcast in general, super cool. Been watching him under his tracks. I mean, I was there for his first 1,000 subscribers and all that. Watching it, super cool. He's up there, and I'm so glad to be a part of this third generation thing. At first, not gonna lie, it was a little weird when we were talking last year when it started to get more into it. It was like, yeah, you're meant for great things. I'm like, oh, am I now? But now that I'm really kind of stepping off the deep end and stepping out of my comfort zone and diving into it, and this is very nerve-wracking. It's a very good step for me to break free of that and further better myself for the benefit of that third generation thing. Yeah. And this has been a great conversation. Highly look forward to the next one. A lot of fun, a little nervous, but it's okay.
You did great. You did awesome. This is his first time to ever do this. He's
awesome,
just like,
Nick.
what's up? Yeah, natural. Damn natural.
This was just like three brothers talking.
Oh,
man.
absolutely.
I loved it.
The Japanese Oreo just hanging out.
That's right.
Well, guys, thank y'all so much for listening, everybody out there. Of course, all the ways to find both these gentlemen will be linked down in the show notes. Make sure you check that out. We got a couple other links down for you there as well. Make sure you check out Museum of Tarot. And if I promised you anything else, I'll listen back to it and link that as well. Peter Whitley, thank you so much. Nick, my man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Love y'all.
Thank you.
Man, that was a kick-ass conversation. Did you have some fun?
I had a great time.
Teaseful. Yes, that was awesome, Nick. I can't thank you enough, man. This was so great. Well,
thank you for having me.
You're a fucking natural at this, dude. You've got to do this.
Thank you so much.
I can't wait to. We'll start working on podcast names for you.
Oh, yeah.
So all the ways to find him and Peter Whitley, of course, guys, linked down in the show notes. Check that out. Like I said, we may be making this a damn thing, so y'all stay tuned for more as well. While you're down there checking them links out, let's go over the resource links real quick, guys. Food Forest Abundance, get that freedom from fear on. Libsyn, start your own damn podcast and do it right. Meow. With that link, it gives you you 2 months free. Amazon, if you're going to feed that beast, feed it through our link. It's a normal-ass link, but it helps the show. It's the only difference. And Opus, the Organization for Paranormal Understanding and Support. They can help you out with all your missing time, paranormal events, contact, anything like that. You got a chupacabra running around, call Opus. I'm sure they could help you out or get somebody by to take a look at it for you. Also, while you're down there, guys, check out expandingrealitypodcast.com. That is where you can also help the show. And there's a donate button up there, a little tab that says, show you boys some love, something like that. I'll come up with a creative title for it. Anyway, it's up there, guys. Check that out, as well as all the lives are replayed there. Too hot for YouTube, all the good stuff. You know what I'm going to say. So there you go. Go check it out. All right. So while you guys are exploring this mysterious place this week, go out here and y'all just be nice to everybody that you come across. Of course, pick up a piece of litter. Don't be an asshole. Also, while you're not being an asshole, go ahead and get out of that left-hand lane. Everybody hates that. You know who you are. Just move on over. Let us by. You can go back to doing whatever you were doing. Get out of the left-hand lane. Also, while you're out there, go ahead and buy somebody in line around you a coffee or a meal. Something super small goes an incredibly far way in the collective. So you guys just please take yourself up on that. And you know what I'm going to say. Go out into this beautifully mysterious place, whatever the hell this thing is, and y'all just be good to one another. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Nick, we'll see you next time, dude.
Absolutely you will.
Bye, guys.
At Sleep Outfitters Outlet, great sleep is a big deal. Save 40 to 60% every day on every Sealy, Stearns & Foster, and Tempur-Pedic. Queens as low as $249. Customer exchanges, closeouts, and floor samples. Inventory changes daily, so come in for your dream deal today. With no credit needed financing, expert advice, and up to 60% off retail, it's never been easier to get the sleep and savings you deserve. Go to sleepoutfittersoutlet.com for financing details and to find a store near you.